Hello, Sugar here, and today we're going to take a look at my vintage PGSM sword harp weapon. PGSM is usually referred to as the Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon live action. It's one of my favorite incarnations of Sailor Moon, and I know that's really weird because the live action is really quirky and dorky and really feels like Power Rangers, but it was such a different take on Sailor Moon. And Naoko Takeuchi actually had quite a bit to do with it, so it's not completely off the walls and unapproved by her. She was very involved in this interpretation of Sailor Moon. And it gets so dark and so heartbreaking, and I swear I only cried a little bit on a few episodes. It's just so good. If you get the chance to watch it, if you can find it on the internet, or you can buy a super official DVD on eBay, I'd recommend it because it's just so good. If you get over the cheesy special effects and the fabulous transformations, and you can really just get into the story and what they offer you for characters and different interpretations of them, just soak it in and enjoy it for the ride that it is. Definitely recommend it. Come fangirl with me after if you've seen it. If you've already seen it, please mention in the comments your thoughts because I am very curious on this one. But anyway, this is Princess Sailor Moon's weapon. She is a character only ever seen in the live action. There is no other incarnation of that particular version of Sailor Moon. Again, it's one of my favorite ones, and the weapon is just such a fun design. Here's the vintage box here. You can see here there is Princess Sailor Moon, and you can see this is the harp mode and this is the sword mode. So that's already quite different. Like Sailor Moon's weapon that she actively uses when she's Princess Sailor Moon is the sword, which is very off character for Sailor Moon. She typically doesn't have weapons. She is basically a healer more so than a fighter. There is the other side of the package. There she is with her super cool sword. Obviously the scale isn't quite right. It's a kid's toy, but it's still really fun design. I will get it out of the package here so that we can take a look at what it does. Alright, so we have it out of the package here. This is the harp mode. Very cute toy. It has lots of nice gold accents, different colors, pretty details. Mine, it was bought used. It came in the package, but it's still been very loved. You can see here it's got scuff marks from being tossed around and played with, which I am fine with. I love collecting toys and I do not mind at all if they are a little bit damaged. As long as nothing is super broken or missing, I am a-okay with it. This is where the batteries go, and to access the batteries there's a little button you have to push in, like this tiny little circle inside there. You push it in and then you're able to slide this up and it will pop off so that you can put in AAA batteries, I think it is. Oh, it's making noise on me. And how I access that button is with these handy dandy chopsticks. I keep them in the package because they're the perfect size to sort of poke in there and get the batteries in and out. I do not store my toys with batteries in them because there is a chance that they leak or explode in the toy and do some damage. But let's see it in action here. So that we have the button here. I can't remember if this is maybe supposed to do something specific with in sword mode or which does what, but with the harp you can play it. It functions off, I would assume, what are motion sensors. So depending on so cute! Oh, I just love this toy. If I was a young child and I had this toy, I would probably lose my bananas over it. And then to switch it into sword mode, I do believe we can turn it off here. Does it do something else with the sword? I can't remember. Anyway, we'll turn it off here, and this part just sort of twists off. And then you can set it over there. And then you bring in the handy dandy upper part of the sword. I don't know what you would call it. The blade, I guess. The blade! That's a good word for it. And it just sort of twists in. There we go. It sits in there. And then these spin upward. You just have to make sure they kind of have a little notch that they sit in, so you do have to lift it out a tiny bit and then lift it up. And we will turn it back on. And now we have the badass sword mode. So depending on how you move it, it sort of makes different sounds. I can't remember what triggers the full song it did at the beginning. Is it just when you grab it? Yes. But yeah, so there we have it. One of my favorite vintage Sailor Moon toys. What are your thoughts on this toy? Even if you don't like... Oh look, I forgot to bring this up. Haha. That's what happens when I'm not paying attention. Sailor Moon is ready to kick some ass. But yeah, so even if you haven't seen PGSM, what are your thoughts on this toy? It's pretty cool. I don't know, if you collect vintage toys, you have to think this is cool. It's just fabulous. 10 out of 10 in my books. So there we have it. The PGSM Sailor Moon, Princess Sailor Moon rod, harp, sword, weapon. So that is everything for now. Stay magical and see you next time.